Did Kevon Looney just save his best for last in a Golden State Warriors uniform after a career-high 18-point outing against the Oklahoma City Thunder? What are the Warriors going to do with Loon and his expiring contract? Plus, Kevin Dana, the voice of the Santa Cruz Warriors, on the show today, breaking down a little Quentin Post and all things Golden State.
Who can stop Steph Curry?
Hopefully we'll never find out.
There's not many defenses in the world that can stop him.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yo, what is the good word, everyone? We appreciate you for making Locked On Warriors a part of your day. Ways you could check us out: YouTube, if you're hanging out with us right now, give us the thumbs up. Also, wherever you get your audio podcasts, we are there for you, delivering Golden State Warriors content around the clock. We're brought to you by FanDuel. Super Bowl 59 is here, and there's no better way to make every play more exciting than with the FanDuel Sportsbook. New customers can bet just $5, and if you win, you will score $200 in bonus bets. Download the app or head to FanDuel.com to get started. We do have a newsletter. You can get it delivered to your inbox for free at LockedOnDaily.com. Again, that is Warriors news, notes, nuggets, a link to this podcast on the audio platform. Also, we're giving out nuggets surrounding the whole NBA, advice in there. There's just a lot of good stuff. It'll change your life. LockedOnDaily.com. All right, let's get to the show, everyone. We appreciate the everydayers that are hanging out with us. You know who you are. Hop in those comments. Give me your thoughts. We got Kevin Dana coming up on the show in just a bit to break down Quentin Post. He's also going to talk a little Kevin Knox, because if one of these trades does involve multiple Warriors, maybe there's a chance he comes up, although Kevin says there's probably more likely of a chance that he's getting a 10-day somewhere else, and he's apparently been killing it down there. But enough about the G League, because we are starting with a sacred member of the Golden State Warriors dynasty, truly a large contributing factor with his personality, with his leadership, with the fact that he is always available. It's Iron Man Loon. And every once in a while, he'll give you exactly, not every once in a while, often he will give you exactly what you need. And sometimes what you need is 18 points and momentum shifting plays. Clap it up for Kevon Looney. Clap it up again. We may have just seen the end of him in a Golden State Warriors jersey, truly affecting the game. Maybe he has, one more dynamite game. Maybe he doesn't get traded and he somehow winds up on the Warriors this year and beyond. And that's not really somehow. That could be the leader in the clubhouse to what happens right now. But he is obviously in conversations for any trade that would be possible, whether it's Vucevic, whether it's Butler, whether it's Zach LaVine, or whether it's a name we have not heard of. Expiring contracts in the NBA to get money off the books are important. So Kevon Looney could be a member in one of those trades, and he saved the best for last if that is the case. 18 points, tying a career high. And there was a great article from Marcus Thompson of The Athletic. Going to give you some of the quotes that were in here, and it really just depicts what could be, keyword could be the end of an era. Looney had a block on Jalen Williams with 3 minutes left in the game. It got Chase up. And Chase has been sleepy at times this season. Take away the Dallas game where Steph went crazy at the end when they defeated Klay Thompson for the first time in the Bay Area with Klay's return. That game was electric. There are a few here and there sprinkled in, but largely since Thanksgiving, we have not seen a ton in a big-time game to get super excited about from start to finish. And this one wasn't even start. This was a gritty comeback win, a win that kind of defined what Kevon Looney has meant to the Warriors, just grit and determination. The game the Warriors should not have won, just like the fact that Kevon Looney sometimes with his lateral quickness and vertical abilities, you would not think would be able to bang down low with some of these modern-day NBA players, but he always gets the job done, man. He's been good. Looney's quote on that block of Williams: the crowd hyped me up. I almost talked, I'd say it, but I can't. I almost talked what when I got the block. I don't ever do that. He doesn't. It's always awesome when the crowd's right behind you, when they're showing you love. I got my own little chant, so I know it's for me. They show appreciation for me when I'm doing the small stuff. I ain't doing all the crazy dunks and stuff like that, but they show love for rebounding and doing what I do. And if these are the last games for, let's say the combo, let's say that Levine trade that I brought up on yesterday's show actually were to come true. And that is 3 NBA champions. It's Payton, it's Wiggins, and it is Looney. If that were the case, then this was something to remember them by. A portrait to illustrate how hard it is to let them go. That is a bar, courtesy of Marcus Thompson of The Athletic. Loon, Wiggs, GP2, champions, professionals, real ones. Wiggins had some quotes in there saying that he knew this was a business. Sounds like Thompson probably got him at the locker. He knew this was a business. He'd hate to go, yada, yada. Look, noise is out there. It's the deadline. We're a week away. There's always noise out there when things aren't working 100% and when your contract makes sense to potentially be in a move. Obviously, when these reports are being brought up, people are going to tie you together, whatever. But noise is noise. It doesn't mean anything will come from it. Another bar from that article. Those three, I guess those two, Looney and Payton, they haven't consistently summoned these powers, but the win over OKC reminded everyone of the impact of their peaks and how they live for the gauntlet of the postseason. It was a declaration of their value. It was a plea for their retention. And I don't think many Warriors fans believe that Gary Payton and Kevon Looney are going to be a part of the future, but who knows? I think a lot of people thought that one of the two wouldn't be on the squad at this point in time, this late in the season. Kevon Looney said, yes, I want to stay. This after the 18-point game. I know what the game is. I've been here long enough. My locker mates changed a lot of times. It might be my time. Who knows? That's the NBA. I definitely will not be sleeping that night. Whenever the time is for the trade deadline, I'm going to be up. Kevon Looney doesn't want to go anywhere. Will the Golden State Warriors send him somewhere? That is the big question. We shall find out the answer soon enough. We waited a long time to get some answers on what Quentin Post could bring to the big show. Had a nothing burger, 0 points in the last game against Oklahoma City, but did have a career high 20 in a game not too long ago against Chicago. Let's break down Quentin Post in the eyes of a broadcaster that really called more games than anyone at the professional level. That would be Kevin Dana, who saw all his G League games. Santa Cruz, that's coming up on Locked On Warriors.
Forget that. We champs. Why are you starting with that question? We got 4 championships.
This is a message from sponsor Intuit TurboTax. Taxes was waiting and wondering and worrying if you were going to get my money back. And then waiting, wondering, and worrying some more. Now Taxes is matching with a TurboTax expert who does your taxes as soon as today. An expert who gives your taxes their undivided attention as they work on your return, while you get real-time updates on their progress so you can focus on your day. An expert who will find you every deduction possible and file every form, every investment, everything with 100% accuracy. Also, you can get the most money back guaranteed. No waiting, no wondering, no worries. Now, this is Taxes. Get an expert now on TurboTax.com. Only available with TurboTax Live full service. Real-time updates only in iOS mobile app. See guaranteed details at TurboTax.com/guarantee.
When you have rare situations, rare players do rare things.
There really isn't a better human being on earth to bring into the show than Kevin Dana when it pertains to Quentin Post. He's seen how many games in the G League that Post has played. He's gotten the chance to watch Quentin Post at an extensive level for the Golden State Warriors. You combine those things together, and he is the QP expert. So let's start with Quentin, from your time watching him in the G League. What most impressed you about the really good pick and pop shooter that can also bang a little inside?
Yeah, let's start with the banging part, Chuck, because he's got a little nasty to him. And I realize what I said as I said it, but
hey, this is the podcast world, baby. Keep rolling.
Here we go. But he's got this nasty to him that, like, I guess, when you think of stretch bigs, maybe the first thing that doesn't come to you is physical presence. but he has a physical presence. I saw it in a practice early this season. I saw it in these early games, these first couple of home games they had to start the season against the Valley Suns, that he's not afraid to mix it up. And that was the first thing that really stood out to me. The second thing that stood out to me is that he did not really start shooting well from deep at the beginning of the G League season, but every shot looked good. Like, he was in the low to mid 20s for a few games, got it up to the high 20s, and literally the thought in my head was, I've never seen a better 28% three-point shooter in my life. Like, and it sounds like a backhanded compliment and a half, and he got it up to 34% through 17 games. And it just shows you like how hot he was in the regular season portion of the G League schedule, which he probably played like 7 of those 17 games were in the regular season. He was just on one to start the G League regular season, which starts at the end of December. So his confidence when shooting threes when they weren't going down, his physicality inside was really impressive. And he could read defenses pretty well, and he knows how to make the pass. I mean, he averaged 2.1 assists per game for the Santa Cruz Warriors in 17 games, and he made some really nice reads from there as well.
I noticed that about the reading the defense. All it took was like 15 minutes of game action to realize that he is analyzing everything real time. He's communicating. He's telling guys to go this way, that way. I mean, he does look like somewhat of a veteran out there. And I had one of his teammates, his point guard at Boston College, Mason Madsen, on the show over the summer. That's what he said about him. He's like, look, this guy's an all ACC defender. The knock on him is that he's too slow-footed and not laterally quick enough and not vertical enough. All the things that typically make good defenders to be one at the next level. But no, he can bang. He's got some toughness to him, and he takes a lot of pride in the way that he plays defense, IQ-wise, more so than just talent-based. So that's one thing that I noticed. What do you think he needs to do to get extended playing time in the NBA? Because we saw the 20-point game against the Bulls. Looked pretty flawless there, but there have been some moments here and there that make him look like a rookie.
Yeah, I mean, like, while he has impressed Steve Kerr on defense, like, there's still work to be done on the defensive end. Like, you still don't want to necessarily have him guards on switches. He's more of probably a drop coverage defender, so learning that kind of defense at the NBA level would certainly be kind of I would imagine, an area of growth. I'm not a drop coverage expert, so I wouldn't dare say like what he needs to improve in that aspect. But that a little bit, he's a really good rim finisher in the G League, 73% on shots around the rim in a league where the league average is like 57, 58%. But yeah, I mean, just getting used to the NBA physicality inside, though, he's certainly someone who can bang and get physical. That's something. And then, yeah, just to continue to shoot the three even when he has some slumps. And he had that one great game, 5 made threes. He's had some games where he hasn't shot it as well. But to continue to space the floor, and that's the thing I like about him, is he has that confidence to continue shooting even when he is slumping a little bit. Just keep letting it rip, because we've seen in the last couple of games, if Steph's going to draw that much attention and they're going to leave Quentin that wide open, you got to shoot it.
Respect to Kevin Knox. He's been incredible in the G League this season. 22 points, 8 rebounds. He's shooting the ball pretty well, 35% from 3, which is, for Knox, I mean, that's what he needs to be if he wants to get back to the NBA. He needs to be someone that can hit him consistently, because he shoots him consistently. Another thing that he needed to do is attack the glass. Granted, it's in the G League level, and he is, 25 years of age, playing against some younger players. But you saw it over the summer league. You saw it in the preseason. That is something he's definitely worked on with his game. 7 boards per game. It's interesting because Knox was, his best season was his rookie year.
Yeah.
For the New York Knicks, where he averaged 12 points and 4.5 rebounds per game as a 19-year-old. He was a star at Kentucky. I mean, halfway through the season, he was their guy. And then Shai Gilgeous-Alexander kind of took over as the season went along. But Kevin Knox was drafted higher. He was the 9th pick in the 2018 NBA draft. I know some Warriors fans are starting to say, let's see what Knox can bring to the table. A double-barreled question here. One, what would it take for Knox to get to the league in terms of the financial aspect of it and creating a roster spot, all these things? And 2, any chance we see Knox in a Warriors jersey this year, in your humble opinion?
So I'll start with the first thing that goes against Kevin Knox's 6 years of NBA experience, which means he cannot sign a two-way contract. So that limits his opportunities to get to the NBA level. Unfortunately for him, there isn't anything he needs to do game-wise because he's an NBA player right now. Anyone who's watched him like in Santa Cruz over the course of this year, you kind of come away thinking, what the hell is he doing here? Why is he in the G League? And I was not around for, those. I mean, I did not work for the Knicks. I didn't work for the Hawks. I didn't work for the Blazers, the teams he was with, the Pistons. Whatever concerns I might have had, like he's an NBA player. He's got that talent. It would be tough to do it with Golden State because they don't want to use that 15th roster spot for luxury tax purposes, right? And so usually they sign a 15th player later on in the season. He would certainly be a candidate for that if he's around. And if I'm another NBA team, and I have an open spot, I'm looking at Kevin Knox on a 10-day. I would not I'm not saying he's going to be a game changer for anybody this season, but if you just need like an NBA talented level wing, like he's your guy. And you were mentioning some of his stats, the 35% from three, those are his regular season numbers. Overall this year, he's at 38%. The G League makes it really screwy with stats. Don't get me started, but basically there are two different seasons. And it's tough to find the combined overall stats. And you would have to have spent basically 13 years in the G League like myself to know where to look for this stuff. And so it makes it confusing for fans or NBA people who are trying to get accurate stats information. Anyways, off my soapbox there. But I would love to see Kevin Knox with Golden State. If he's around and they're still looking to sign that 15th player, which usually happens – I think it's usually in March when they do it. I'm trying to remember when they moved Lester Quinones to the full roster spot a couple of years ago. I think it was in March when they did it, either March and I think they did it with Garuba in April last year. If Kevin Knox is still on the Santa Cruz Warriors, if he hasn't been called up, I would love to see him with Golden State.
Super Bowl 59 is here. It's one game, two teams, endless possibilities, and there's no better way to make every play more exciting than with FanDuel Sportsbook. Whether it's predicting the first touchdown, calling the MVP, or even betting on the coin toss, FanDuel makes it easy to get in on the action. With live betting all game long, you can adjust your bets as the game unfolds. Feel the thrill from kickoff to the final whistle. The live betting feature lets you stay involved no matter what happens on the field, and the app is super easy to navigate. Plus, knowing you could place a $5 bet and potentially win $200 in bonus bets for the Super Bowl? Sign me up. Download the app or head to FanDuel.com to get started. Bet just $5. And if you win, you'll score those $200 in bonus bets on FanDuel.com. Bet with FanDuel, the official partner. Super Bowl 59.
I don't give a damn about no damn Drake night.
Want to finish the show with a little experiment, have some fun.
Yeah,
Santa, as he mentioned earlier, has been with the C-Dubs for 13 years, since what, 2012, 13?
Yeah, 2012, 13. Their first season was my first season.
Okay, so let's do this. A Mount Rushmore of best players you ever saw in the G League. They could have amounted to nothing in the NBA.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily have to be Warriors players, but bonus points for Warriors players. But there's someone that stands out that was from Cleveland or whatever it may be, and it's just a funny name because he never did anything in the NBA, but averaged 40 in the G League. You tell me, but let's get the Mount Rushmore.
All right. So I'll start with Elliot Williams. He's the best player in Santa Cruz Warriors history. Now, Seth Curry played there, but his rookie year, he wasn't the Seth Curry he is today, or the guy that, has gone on to be, 45%-ish three-point shooter for the vast majority of his NBA career. He was finding his way. Elliot Williams was at the peak of his powers as a former first-round draft pick by the Portland Trail Blazers. Just injuries derailed his career, but his last year he was averaging 28 a game in the G League for Santa Cruz. He was awesome. Jordan Crawford might be the very best player I've seen in the G League. Former Golden State Warriors.
Xavier Jordan Crawford?
Xavier / guy who dunked on LeBron James in his summer game, and LeBron had the film taken away or whatever.
That was great. One of the great calls from Gus Johnson, Kansas State, Xavier, Sweet 16.
Man. Yes.
Crawford, he's got to hurry. Yeah, that was good stuff. And sorry to the people that are listening in the morning.
Man.
Hopefully I got far enough away from the mic. But yeah, go ahead on Crawford.
Yeah. All right. So those two, I got to think. Oh, there's this guy, Chicago Bulls two-way guy who averaged 35 one season. Bulls two-way guy averaged 35 in.
Isn't that crazy that Google is just going to give you the answer right now?
Hopefully it does. This is Chicago Bulls two-way guys, 2017-18 season. Let's see, two-way guy. Antonio Blakeney. He averaged 35 a game.
Why does that sound so familiar? Where did he play college?
Oh, let's see. Was it LSU? I don't know. Hold on. Blakeney. Yeah, he played at LSU. This guy, and he's playing for, where's he playing for right now? Hapoel Tel Aviv. So it's like in the Euro Cup, that's like the second tier European competition. But man, this 1 year in the G League, then he ended up averaging like 7 points per game for the Chicago Bulls the next year. So like that's not bad. So those three guys for sure. And then I'm blanking on a fourth, but like for a current guy, Mason Jones of the Sacramento Kings on a two-way, he's got to be up there somewhere. And then like an older guy, Joe Alexander, former top 10 pick out of West Virginia. When he was healthy, he was unstoppable in the G League. So those are the names that come to my mind. I didn't see Steve Novak when he was with the Reno Bighorns. That was before me. I didn't see Jeremy Lin when he was with the Reno Bighorns. So he did later play for the Santa Cruz Warriors in that bubble season. But like those are the names that are popping out right now. I'm sure I can get you a better list later, but I'm not sure too many people would be interested in that.
Off the top of your head, how many G League players went on to have extremely successful, like all-star caliber NBA season? You know, off the top of your head, is it a handful?
Yeah.
Is it a lot more?
So there are two guys who have played in the G League before they became NBA All-Stars. So like not guys that went like on a rehab assignment. Now they were guys who were on NBA contracts, but Chris Middleton and Rudy Gobert. I'm pretty sure that's the exhaustive list right there. But I remember doing Rudy Gobert's, I think, first ever G League game. It was in Bakersfield against the Santa Cruz Warriors, and he was matched up against Onion Kuzmic. And, Gobert, yeah, he was solid. He's like a double-double guy in the G League. I didn't think he'd be the guy. He's become the 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. But, yeah, I saw Rudy Gobert's first game in the G League. I actually did a game. Dennis Schroeder got torn up by our, third-string point guard, Kiwi Gardner, who was all of 5'7", put 23 points on him in 9 minutes. And Schroeder was good, but Kiwi Gardner, and this was Schroeder's rookie year, so he wasn't the guy he was now. But yeah, incredible performance that I saw from Kiwi. But yeah, it's Gobert, it's Middleton, and then I think eventually Jalen Green's probably going to get an All-Star nod at some point in his career, but he came through G League Ignite. It's kind of a different thing. But yeah,
asterisk.
Yeah,
asterisk.
yeah, exactly. He and Kuminga would get asterisks for played in the G League because, I guess Kuminga did get assigned to the Santa Cruz Warriors after playing for G League Ignite, so less of an asterisk for him if he goes on to have an All-Star career.
No doubt about it, man. Kevin Dana, you can hear him on the Santa Cruz Warriors call. You can hear him on Stanford Women's. And from time to time, filling in for Tim Roy, right? We can hear you on the radio broadcast for the big show.
Yeah, I will say this. I've done 20 Golden State games, 1 Clipper game. NBA teams, if you're looking for a broadcaster, I am 15-6 as an NBA broadcaster. So I win. That's all I'm saying.
No such thing as the broadcaster's jinx when it comes to Kevin Dana. Appreciate you for joining the program today, man.
Thanks, Chuck. I always appreciate it, man.